Global mutations. Each person becomes the last animal they eat. Someone ate a bowl of beef noodles, transformed into an ancient black dragon with monstrous combat power. Someone nibbled on a fried chicken leg, transformed into an undead phoenix reborn from the ashes. And in my previous life I casually ate a braised chicken and rice, only awakened to the useless singing, dancing, and rap skills. In the wild beasts, the beast tide of the weak and the strong did not last long in the apocalypse. It ended a tragic death. Now I am reborn back to the eve of the cataclysm. Know all the truths about the end of the world in advance. I am a battalion with precise layout, vows to stand on the supreme throne of this beast-transformed world. The first target I targeted was the owlet. He was born with the ultimate night vision ability. The auditory sensitivity far exceeds that of most living things in the world. As long as you can get the talent of an owl and can completely ignore the crisis of the night, in the dark night of the end of the world full of danger, become the king of the night that no one can shake. The second must choose is the weakly electric eel. His body can release more than 800 volts of super high voltage current. In the previous life, there were people who were strengthened. With the talent of electric eels, martial arts are rampant in the apocalypse. No one dares to provoke him. After making up your mind, I immediately searched the internet for all kinds of creatures with strong physiques. A seemingly inconspicuous ant. It instantly caught my attention. Ordinary ants can carry objects 400 times their weight, and the bullet ant is the top ruthless character in the ant tribe, ranked among the top 10 poisonous organisms in the world. Owls can give me the ultimate night vision and super auditory perception. The weakly electric eel allows me to control the powerful abilities of high voltage thunder and lightning. Bullet ants allow me to inherit the ant's supernatural power. It can also unlock super bite force and deadly poison, breaking the combat power. The ability to sense poison is all complete, but I still lack the core defensibility. In the cruel apocalypse, the ability to defend the crotch is pulled. No matter how strong the attack is, sooner or later, they will be hunted by other deceived people, or become a meal on the plate of mutant beasts. Since you live a new life, I want to make myself. There are no shortcomings. Hexagonal almighty god of war. Speaking of defense, is it more appropriate to choose a turtle or a crocodile? In my last life, I saw with my own eyes someone who ate crocodile meat before the cataclysm. After the beast transforms, its whole body is covered with crocodile scales. Strength, bite force, and physical defense are all ridiculously strong. Some netizens recommended begging for fish in the comment area. It is said that its shell is as hard as natural armor. Even ordinary bullets can bounce off directly. Cocklefish is a nationally endangered, protected animal. There is no way to obtain it legally. I just dropped this option, just as I was thinking. Suddenly I thought of a water bear whose vitality can be called against the sky. As long as you can eat enough water bears before the cataclysm comes, can inherit his immortal physique. This creature claims to be as long as the sun does not destroy, can live forever. It can resist extreme environments such as extremely high temperature, extremely low temperature, and ultra high pressure, even if it is thrown into outer space to suffer nuclear radiation. As long as you are not in the center of the nuclear explosion, you can get out unscathed. What's more, tadpoles can be found everywhere around the world. Moist soil moss water film is everywhere. It is the easiest to obtain, but the problem followed. A water bear that can't even be killed in outer space. How to deal with it before eating? I immediately went online to check professional popular science materials. Finally figured out his weaknesses. The water bear is transparent throughout, automatically dehydrates in harsh environments. Curled up into a barrel. Scientists once put it at a temperature of 150 degrees, 200 degrees Celsius. In extreme environments, it can still be revived after returning to normal temperature. Atomic bomb level nuclear radiation. None of the 6 times the water pressure in the Mariana Trench could kill it, but it has a fatal weakness. Irradiation with ultraviolet germicidal lamps for 15 minutes can completely kill you. Completely inactive within 24 hours. High temperature steam and open flame burning can also kill it. Once you have all the key information, I immediately raced against time to get into action. There are only 3 days left before the catastrophe. I must hurry up and prepare exclusive modified ingredients. I first bought a microscope and a UV germicidal lamp online. It is safest to kill water bears with ultraviolet lamps. It can avoid losing tiny insect bodies. The town where I live is surrounded by farmland and mountains. Moss grows everywhere. It is the best gathering place for water bears. I immediately went into the mountain. Moss and lichens are collected in large quantities. Get ready to go back and screen for water bears. On the way to collect supplies, a lava rock more than 10 centimeters long crawled through the grass on the side of the road. Suddenly remembered that this creature has a super self-healing talent. It has the ability to regenerate with a severed limb. Hurry up and ask netizens for verification. Lava can be regenerated indefinitely. After the extremely strong accurate answer, I was instantly excited. The immortal constitution of tardigrades, paired with Rongoan's severed limb rebirth ability. 2 anti-heaven talents are superimposed. I am almost invincible in the last days. I will take Ihara home first, and raise it properly. Then he rode a motorcycle to the county shopping mall. Buy a UV germicidal lamp. High-stretch clothing was also specially prepared. Prevent the body shape from skyrocketing and breaking the clothes in the future. Meanwhile, I sent a private message to major breeding bloggers on the short video platform. It is planned to purchase key ingredients such as owls, American electric eels, and bullet ants at high prices. Got busy with everything. It's already evening. I had a simple dinner outside. I went to school to borrow a full set of experimental equipment such as microscopes, beakers, and droppers. It is convenient to separate and collect water bears in the future. Follow the tutorial online. I let the moss sit for 24 hours. Squeeze out the water inside. Drop on a slide. And observe under a microscope. Maybe it's the good luck of rebirth. I found a 01 sized tardily on my first observation. This kind of insect is not visible to the naked eye at all. I want to save a few hundred. It takes a lot of time and effort. Busy for most of the day. Only 12 were found. I think the moss is not wet enough time. Most of the tardigrades have not yet broken away from the moss. But as long as the method is feasible, it is enough. I don't need to waste all my time on it. On the matter of collecting water bears. At this moment, message pops up on your phone. Specializing in insect breeding. Zhao Jiaming, a blogger who relies on hundreds of thousands of fans in the ant circle, replied to my private message. Early the next morning, I checked the face of the breeder first. She is still alive. Do not handle refrigeration for the time being. Then I went to the appointment on time. Came to Zhao Jiaming's private breeding base. Glass tank in the base is filled with all kinds of unpopular insects. In the corner was the bullet chair I desperately needed. Zhao Jiaming cherishes the bullet chair very much. Even if it is a dead individual, they will be made into specimens and kept well. I directly opened my mouth to buy 50 live bullet ants. By the way, I want some more dead individuals. Transfer directly without saying a word. Zhao Jiaming secretly regretted that the offer was too low. At the same time, I am also very curious. Why do I even want dead insects? While wandering around the base, 2 beetles shaped like iron lumps caught my eye. Zhao Jiaming said, "This is the iron beetle. It is known as the hardest insect in nature. Can withstand pressure nearly 40 times its own weight. If the physical defense is proportionally enlarged, it can be called the ceiling of nature." Hearing this, I was ecstatic in my heart. Isn't this the prototype of the ironclad beast that swept the last days in the last life? Add the iron beetle to your must-buy list immediately. Zhao Jiaming saw that I was bound to win. Directly sit on the ground to raise the price. Frankly admitted that these unpopular species are expensive. Are tens of thousands at every turn. I bargained. In the end, he spent 20 yuan to get 2 iron nail beetles. At this time, there was only more than 10 savings left. Also save money for American electric eels and owls. I took the opportunity to ask Zhao Jiaming about the purchase channels of American electric eels. He happened to know a friend who played an unpopular aquarium. Not long ago, I just got an American electric eel, but I can't support it. The electric eel is in a sluggish state. It won't last long. The seller heard that someone was buying it at a high price. Direct quote, 5,000. Zhao Jiaming doubled when he changed hands, asked me for 10 yuan. Seeing that time is getting tighter and tighter, I didn't bother to bargain with him. Agreed to the deal on the spot. Zhao Jiaming secretly mocked himself for being stupid and had a lot of money, but he didn't know that the end of the world would come. No amount of banknotes will turn into a pile of waste paper. We quickly arrived at the seller's residence. It was confirmed that the water tank was a purebred American electric eel. I immediately transferred the money to complete the transaction. The seller was also kind enough to remind me to cross the water as soon as possible. I said directly, "I heard that electric eel meat is delicious. It is intended to be cooked and eaten directly." The 2 of them were stunned on the spot. I regret that the offer is too low. Now that we have arrived in the provincial capital, I stopped by to the pet market. Started artificially bred owls. Wild owls are nationally protected animals. Trading is strictly prohibited, and artificially bred owls also possesses top night vision and hearing talent. It perfectly meets my needs. Spend 30 yuan to buy the best owl. At this point, all my core modified ingredients are ready. When I get home, the American electric eel I bought has completely died. I don't regret it in the slightest. Deal with it immediately. Freeze in the refrigerator. I plan to wait until the eve of the cataclysm to take it out and cook it. At this moment, I also thoroughly understood the underlying rules of beast transformation. The world thinks that the disaster is the day. Only guess that animal meat in the body will be infected by the energy of the end times. Let people inherit the talents of the corresponding animals. But this is only a facade. Truth of the true beast transformation. No one can really see through it. After that, I temporarily stopped collecting water bears in order to ensure that there is no other meat residue in the stomach on the day of the change. I only ate vegetarian sausage cleansing for 2 days in a row. At this time, I still have 60 savings on hand. Simply spend it all. Go to the blacksmith shop in town to buy self-defense weapons. Ordinary knives can't withstand the fierce fighting in the apocalypse. A giant axe that adapts to my follow-up supernatural power and lightning talent. Heavy hammer is the best choice in the early stage. I have visited all the farm tool shops in town. Only an 8 wall demolition sledgehammer was bought, barely able to cope with the early beasts and chaotic fights. Then I purchased crocodile meat and high-calorie chocolate. I also bought a mechanical pocket watch. After the end of the world, complete power outage. Only mechanical clocks can accurately control time. After returning home, I sealed and kept the dashi bears that were killed in advance. There are ordinary ants that are roasted and crushed. Make ant chocolate beans for easy consumption. He also made 5 pounds of crocodile meat into meatballs. It was given to the head teacher who helped me in my previous life. I counted all the ingredients I purchased. Artificial owls, dead American electric eels, 50 live bullets. In addition, a number of ant lions, 2 iron beetles, and living lava have been added. There are also sealed tardigrades. Properly handled crocodile meat is no worse. Neatly stacked in the refrigerator and storage room, looking at the room full of sky-defying cards. My heart is as stable as a rock. In my previous life, I was mediocre. Let others slaughter you. In this life, I hold the top 10 beast transformation talent cell. It is destined to set off a storm in the last days. I ate in strict accordance with the rules of animal transformation that I had figured out. I first swallowed a special bullet and chocolate chip. Warm pulp into the abdomen. A burst of heat instantly hibernated on the limbs. Origin of the strange power and poisonous thorns quietly merged into the body. Immediately afterwards, I swallowed the cleaned iron ingot's beetle flesh. The carapace is hard and dry. It is extremely difficult to chew and swallow. I resisted the feeling of a foreign body. He gritted his teeth and swallowed it all into his stomach. In an instant, the flesh and skin of the whole body suddenly tightened. An invisible layer of heavy armor covers the whole body. Physical defense that can withstand extreme pressure. The source slowly takes root in the body. I then ate the firm crocodile meatballs. The domineering and wild force swept through the body. Squamous sclerosis, the strong bite, and the beastly instinct of close combat are all precipitated. In the end, I ate owl meat and American electric eel meat in one go. All the top beast transformations that have been planned in advance will be changed. All remain in the stomach and intestines. I was careful the whole time. Prevent contamination with any other meat. Ensure that the stomach and intestines are clean and free of impurities. Finish eating. I rinse my mouth carefully. No more food intake. Quietly waiting for the global catastrophe to come. In the evening, the sky suddenly darkened. The entire sky dome was completely shrouded in eerie dark purple clouds. Air suppression and stagnation. The chest of the heavy person is tight. The streets are still noisy. Pedestrians laughed and wandered. And the night market was full of fireworks. Countless people are unaware that the end is coming. Still skewers barbecue eating and drinking desserts. I don't know what I am eating at the moment. It will freeze the upper limit of their apocalyptic talents in this life. Late at midnight, boom, an invisible and intangible loud sound resounded through the world. No deafening sound waves. It exploded in the depths of everyone's soul. The energy in the bedroom poured down. The global harvest has officially begun. Invisible vibrations penetrate heaven and earth. The dark purple sky curtain fell down with a bang. Streetlights flickered wildly on the street, crackling. The lamps burst one after another. In an instant, noisy and lively night market completely plunged into the darkness of boundless death. Only strange purple dwarfs overflowed the streets and alleys. The cold apocalyptic atmosphere swept through every inch. The death period lasts only half a second. Not far away, the strong man who was still eating roast lamb just now. His whole body suddenly trembled. The flesh and bones are crazy. Misaligned and dense black sect broke out of the belly. In just a moment, it turned into a hideous black and brown sheep. His eyes were red. The eyes completely fade away from humanity. The beastly nature of violence comes to the face. The girls next to him were completely different. Silent but extremely bizarre. Her body softened at a speed visible to the naked eye. The faint orchid water light lingers around me. In an instant, the whole person faded into a delicate and transparent water system. Panic spread throughout the streets and alleys like a tide. All kinds of beast transformations were staged one after another in front of my eyes. Everyone's end has long been quietly doomed by the last meal before death. At the entrance of the Beef Bones Soup restaurant on the street, a middle-aged man who had just put down his bowl suddenly arched his waist. Body suddenly hardened and bulged. Muscles and bones soared wildly. He completely lost his humanity. Brute force ran wild. He lowered his head and slammed a majestic force. Directly lifted the entire bus into the air. Slammed into the street shops. Bricks and tiles shattered. Steel frame is bent. Smoke and dust rose all over the sky in an instant. On the other side, the back alley of the Frog restaurant. Kneeling on the ground at one moment, a man who was convulsing all over. The skin quickly becomes slippery and mottled. The whole face transformed into an ugly toad. Her long scarlet tongue suddenly ejected. Instantly entangled the fleeing passers-by. Oh. The dense pustules on the back exploded. The fishy and corrosive acid was splashed on the ground. Smoke was rising from the ground. Rapid ablation of ulcers. At this moment, the most primitive and cruel law of the jungle has come completely. I was standing by the window on the second floor of my house. Coldly looked down at the chaos downstairs. At this moment, a furious roar suddenly came from the building next door. I saw a black wolf beast more than 2 meters in size break through the corridor. One claw smashed the security window. After the black wolf landed with a thud, his eyes swept over the fleeing crowd. Then lock in a lone girl. He leaned leaned over and rushed over. The girl was so frightened that her legs went weak. I can't run at all. It is about to become a prey in a wolf's mouth. The people around him only care about running for their lives. No one dared to step forward to stop it. My eyes were slightly cold. Although I don't want to make a high-profile shot from the beginning, seeing death and not saving is also in line with the law of ignorance. But I can't get used to bullying the weak for no reason. Just take this opportunity to try it. I am full of talent and real combat power. Thinking of this, I turned around and went downstairs. The 8-cage wall demolition sledgehammer is held in his hand. The figure moved. Night vision is fully open. Night sees things as day. The sound of the wind in my ears. The sound of the beast's heartbeat was also extremely clear. Step lightly on your shoulder. The figure has escaped out of the corridor. The speed far exceeds that of ordinary beast changers. At this time, the black wolf beast was about to pounce on the girl. After sensing the movement behind him, he turned his head suddenly. Scarlet eyes locked on me, let out a low, intimidating roar. I was holding a giant hammer in one hand. There was a faint arc of thunder and lightning wandering around the body. Heavy armor and defense cover the whole body, invisibly. Looked at him condescendingly and coldly. Roll with peace. Black wolf beast was shocked by the inexplicable coercion on me. Hesitated for a moment. Then he became fierce. 4 hooves kicked the ground. It came straight with a bloody wind. I don't dodge. The bullets in his body have been fully opened. The arm muscles suddenly soared a few points. Holding a sledgehammer, he swept the city gate. A loud bang exploded. The black wolf beast was smashed several meters away by my hammer. It hit the wall heavily. His whole body was torn apart. The wailing did not stop. He looked up in disbelief. Obviously, my body shape seems ordinary, but strength, defense, and aura crushed him by more than one level. And the passers-by who were originally scattered and fled around. At this moment they all froze in place. He looked at me with a shocked face. To the black wolf and the strange beast were severely damaged with a hammer. The black wolf struggled to get up. He was covered in wolf fur and dust. There was a severe pain in the heart at the broken bone. The originally scarlet beast pupils finally bloomed with giant ants, and then he tucked his tail, let out a whimpering wail. Dragging the broken body, he limped and fled into the dark alley. The rescued girl's legs were weak. Walked up to me in shock. The voice trembled and kept thanking him. I glanced at him faintly. The tone was unwavering. You're welcome. In the last days, the only thing you can rely on is yourself. Shape up or ship out. After saying that, I ignored him. Turn around and prepare to return to your accommodation. But he just walked a few steps. There was a dense and urgent sound. Suddenly came from the shadows of the corners of the green belts on both sides of the street. The owl's super hearing instantly captured the anomaly. The brows furrowed slightly. The next second, countless black ants the size of fingernails crawl out from all over the place, rushing wildly towards the middle of the street. Even the weeds on the ground were eaten up. It is a mutant ant colony. The apocalyptic energy of the beast transformation cataclysm not only infected humans, even all insects and beasts in the world have mutated. These originally inconspicuous ants, it became extremely aggressive at this moment. Passers-by who had not yet run far on the street were instantly surrounded by ant colonies. Screams rang out one after another. The girl turned pale with fright. Hide behind me. The voice trembled. What to do with a lot of ants? We going to die here? My eyes were cold. Zhao Shen instantly glowed with a faint blue current arc. Just right. Try it with these mutant ant colonies. How powerful is the high-voltage lightning talent of the weakly electric eel? I stood still. His mind moved. The 800-volt high voltage current in the body bursts instantly. Rush into the ground with your feet. A sizzling electric current sounded. The blue electric light is centered on me. Instantly spreads around. The approaching mutant ant touches the current. It was scorched black by electricity. Fall in pieces. There was a burnt smell in the air. But too many ant colonies. The one in front was just electrocuted. The ones behind rushed up one after another. There is no sign of retreat. The effect of the lightning attack is too slow. I immediately changed my mind. Bullet Ant's poisonous talent is instantly activated. The fingertips glowed faintly with lilac toxins, and then cooperate with the whole body current. Any group within 3 meters of me, or electrocution by high voltage, or poisoned instantly by the poison. Meanwhile, the dual defense of the iron nail beetle and the crocodile is fully opened. Even if sporadic ants climb on me, they can't bite through it at all. A body comparable to iron armor. Not even a trace of flesh and skin can be hurt. An immortal tardigrade physique, plus the gift of eternity, also gives me no worries. Even accidental injuries can heal instantly. Just a few minutes later, a thick layer of ant corpses piled up under my feet form a line of defense to isolate ant colonies. The girl hiding behind me, watching me understate the horror. A crowd of people looked at each other in disbelief. After solving the immediate ant colony crisis, I was just about to open my mouth and let him leave on his own. There was a sudden deafening after-sales service in the distance. I saw a giant dingo nearly 3 meters in size. The fangs are exposed. Was running towards his side in a rampage. He was followed by a dozen humans armed with clubs and knives. One by one, Their eyes were fierce, obviously the deceived people who huddled after the catastrophe. At this moment he was chasing this wild dog beast, want to hunt him to seize resources, but in the next second the situation was instantly reversed. The giant wild dog turned abruptly. One paw knocked over the person in front. Open your mouth and bite the other person's throat. Blood splattered all over the place. The rest of the people were so frightened that their faces changed drastically, no longer dared to pursue, turned around and fled for his life. After a giant wild dog bitten one person to death, eyes swept across the streets, to me in an instant. It seems to notice that my aura is not ordinary. He treated me like new prey. With a roar, he rushed over. It's surprisingly fast. My eyes sank. I didn't want to take the initiative to cause trouble, but trouble continues, since it was delivered to the door. Then just try this high-level wild dog beast. All my talents are stacked with all my strength. Thinking of this, I held the 8 kg wall demolition sledgehammer with one hand. The bullet has been sent to the sky. The strange power burst out with all its might. The blue veins on his arm suddenly rose. Thunder and lightning were all over him. Stand in place and wait quietly for him to rush over. All the surviving passers-by around held their breath, watching the scene from a distance. Iron Dingo is fleeting. Open the bloody basin mouth. With strong fishy wind, it bit my neck hard. I want to kill me in one bite. My eyes were cold. Reverse step forward and kicked the ground violently. The figure jumped up instantly. With night vision capabilities, I pinned his head with precision. Whole body is full of strength. The arm was raised high, and the sledgehammer smashed down with the sound of the howling wind. It exploded with a loud bang. The wild dog's skull was instantly smashed and dented. Electricity rushed into him along the hammer, completely destroyed, and the neurotoxicity spread throughout the body. The giant wild dog didn't even have time to wail. The huge body fell to the ground with a bang. After a few twitches in the limbs, completely out of breath, one move kills high-level strange beasts in seconds. Passers-by in the distance were completely stunned. The audience was silent. Everyone looked at me. Only the ultimate fear and awe remained. I shook off the blood on the hammer. His expression was indifferent. Just bent down to check the wild dog carcass. See if you can extract useful material for animal transformation. The terrifying beast roar from the mountains and forests resounded in the sky again. This roar was even more violent than just now. With a devastating coercion, the whole town was swept. The ground trembled violently. Glass on the street was shattered inch by inch. Even the air became extremely oppressive. Faint insects that were originally scattered. The low-level strange beasts were also frightened that they lay on the ground and trembled. I didn't even have the courage to move. I suddenly looked up in the direction of the mountains and forests. The eyes suddenly became solemn. The last generation and the early end of the world. There is no such powerful beast at all. Is this a variable brought about by rebirth? You can judge by breath alone. The strength of this strange beast far exceeded that of the wild dog just now. It is definitely the top beast at the beginning of the end of the world. But what is that? I don't know who let out a scream of horror. Everyone followed the sound and looked at the entrance of the mountain forest. I saw it in the dark night. A huge black shadow is walking towards the town step by step. He is 5 meters tall. His body was covered with black and hard scales. The head resembles a black bear, but it has 3 sharp, blood-colored beast feet. Limbs are extremely thick. Every step falls and smashes deep footprints on the ground. The fangs were exposed and dripping with fishy saliva. His eyes glowed bloodthirsty red. It is a mutant black armored bear. Onlookers completely collapsed. I didn't even have the strength to escape. Slumped on the ground shivering. It's over, we're all dead. Such a powerful beast. No one can stop it. The mutant black armored bear scanned the town. The bloody gaze instantly locked on me. It seems to have sensed the strong aura of me killing wild dogs. He let out a roar at me. Then he rushed violently. There are many afterimages of speed. In just a few seconds he rushed to the middle of the street. The huge bear paw slapped me hard with 1,000 pounds of force. The wind pressure is breathless. Get out of the way. The girl I rescued screamed. His face was full of despair. My eyes were cold. Don't dare to make the slightest reservation. Instantly turn on all defenses. The ultimate heavy armor of the talented ironclad beetle. Crocodile's hard scales. The 2 layers of defense are fully stacked. The body seems to have turned into an invincible iron wall. At the same time, the immortal physique of the water bear was on standby with the talent, facing the sweeping bear paw. I don't dodge. I don't dodge. Hold the sledgehammer bullet in one hand. Completely explode with 400x superpower. Tight muscles throughout the body. Gather power in the hammer body. Smashed hard against the bear's paw. Bang, a loud sound like a symphony of metal and iron exploded. The airwaves spread wildly around. The frozen trash can guardrail was instantly blown away. I was shocked by the force and took 3 steps back. Soles of the feet made 2 deep marks on the ground. The arm was slightly numb and mutated. The black armored bear was also smashed. Obviously didn't take advantage. He was utterly enraged. Roar wildly. He waved his bear's paw again and attacked one after another. Every blow carries the power to destroy the world. The ground was bent with paw potholes. Use the owl to get the ultimate night vision, accurately capture every attack movement of it, and dodge flexibly. At the same time, control the high-voltage lightning of the weakly electric eel. A series of blue lightning flashes blasted towards the black armored bear. The sound of sizzling electricity sounded. Thunder and lightning hit his black armor. Countless sparks flew out, but it can only leave shallow footprints. A simple lightning attack could not break his defenses. My eyes froze. Immediately changed tactics. The bullet is activated with a highly toxic talon. The fingertips glowed with a lilac halo. I found the right time. Take advantage of the gap of the black armored bear's claws. The figure suddenly rushed forward. Jump up, holding a sledgehammer with the power to entangle thunder and lightning and poison, slammed into the base of the most vulnerable animal foot on his head. I gave it my all with all my might. There was a screeching, shattering sound. One of the beast feet of the mutant black armored bear was instantly smashed. Poison and electricity rushed into the body along the wound, destroy his nerves and flesh. The mutant black armored bear let out a scream. The huge body twitched violently. Blood gushed out. He struggled frantically and wanted to fight back, but it was suppressed by poison and lightning. The movement is getting slower and slower. I didn't give him any respite when I landed. Step on the ground, jump up again, raise the sledgehammer high, and use all your strength. Slammed into his head. A crisp, cracking sound sounded. The skull of the black armored male was completely sunken. The huge body fell to the ground with a bang. After a few struggles, he completely lost his breath and smelled bad. Blood stained the entire ground. Everyone around was stunned. I slowly put down the sledgehammer. The thunder and lightning all over my body dispersed. His expression was still indifferent. This test is not enough. But at this moment, dens of footsteps and roars came from the distance. A group of violent beast mutants dominated by beastly nature are rushing towards this direction. He stared at the corpse of the black armored bear. The eyes are greedy, obviously wanted to snatch the corpse of a beast. I looked down at my hands. After killing the strange beast, he clearly felt it. The beast transformation talent in his body is quietly getting stronger. The chi and blood all over the body became more and more surging. Obviously, it was to kill high-level strange beasts. My holographic talents have been subtly tempered, and the group of violent beast mutants in the distance had already rushed to the entrance of the street. There are enough people in the teens. All of them had scarlet eyes. The face is hideous. They all have bestial features. Some grow wolf ears. Some arms turned into animal claws. At first glance, he's a ruthless character who is completely controlled by bestiality after the cataclysm. The body of the black armored bear belonged to Lao Tzu. Whoever robs dies. The leading strong man has a leopard head. The body is strong, holding a blood-stained steel pipe in his hand. The tone was extremely arrogant. His eyes stared greedily at the corpse of the black armored bear on the ground. In this last days, the flesh and flesh of high-level strange beasts are all natural materials and earth treasures that can improve their strength. The rest of the survivors saw this situation. He was so frightened that he quickly stepped back for fear of being involved in this dispute. Even the girl I rescued before was huddled in a corner. He didn't dare to make a sound. More than a dozen deceived people surrounded me and the corpse of the black armored bear. His eyes looked at me fiercely. Seeing me alone, they are becoming more and more unscrupulous. Kid has some ability to kill this black bear, but your luck ends there. Obediently handed over a corpse. Then tell the secret of your beast transformation talent. I can leave you a whole corpse. Stood where I was, holding a wall demolition sledgehammer in one hand. The expression was cold. There is no wave in my eyes. I just think it's ridiculous. In my previous life, I was slaughtered because of cowardice and concession. In this life, anyone who dares to covet my things, you have to pay the price. Give you one last chance, get lost. My voice was calm, but with unquestionable coercion. But this group of deceived people who are carried away by greed, I can't listen to it at all. Looking for death leading the atrocities. Person who was affected by the change shouted angrily. Waving a steel pipe, he rushed towards me first. He was as agile as the wind, extremely fast. Rushed in front of me in an instant. The steel pipe smashed into my head with a strong wind. The other deceived people around also roared and pounced on them. Someone swung his fist. Someone showed his claws. I think more bullies less. Completely besiege me. Facing the siege, I didn't panic at all. The owl is super hearing. The sound of the wind within a few meters is completely blocked. The sound of footsteps is everywhere. Everyone's attack trajectory was accurately predicted by me. The dual defense of the iron beetle and crocodile is instantly turned on. Let the opponent's attack fall on you. Whether it's a steel pipe smashing or a claw tearing, can only spark a little spark. Even my flesh and skin can't hurt it at all. How can it be? How could his defense be so hard? The brutal strong man was shocked. I couldn't believe that my all-out blow had no effect. I don't bother to deal with them. The bullet explodes instantly with 400 times the power. Holding the sledgehammer and swinging it casually. Bang, a dull thump sounded. The two people who rushed to the front were hit by the hammer body and vomited blood. The figure flew out like a broken kite, fell heavily to the ground. He fainted on the spot. The rest of the people were frightened, and their faces changed drastically. Only then did I realize I am not an opponent of the same order of magnitude at all. At this moment, the retreat was cut off. They could only bite the bullet and continue to attack. My mind moved. The weakly electric eel's high-voltage thunder and lightning talent is fully activated. The blue electric light instantly wrapped around the whole body, forming a thunder and lightning barrier. The deceived person who approaches touches the current. An instant he was electrocuted and convulsed to the ground. Immediately afterwards a bullet spread along the fingertips with high poison. My figure flashed. Avoid cluttered attacks. Every shot accurately hits the opponent's vital points. Lilac toxins invade the body. The person who was hit was numb all over. Stiff limbs. There was no more resistance to it. Just a dozen seconds. More than half of the dozen or so mutants who besieged me fell. The wailing sounds came and went. Leading atrocity was frightened. No longer the arrogance of before. I turned around and wanted to run away. I want to leave. My eyes were cold. Force under your feet. The figure instantly rushed out. The speed far exceeded his atrocious bodywork. One step to catch up, then he raised his hand and smashed it on his back. There was a cracking sound. The brutal strong man fell directly to his knees. Completely lost combat effectiveness. Swept the deceived people on the ground with cold eyes. There is no soft-heartedness. The end times are so weak, and the strong eat the strong. Either you die, or I die. Be kind to the enemy. It is cruelty to oneself. After solving this group of food grabbers, I walked to the corpse of the black armored bear. He leaned over and groped. Soon he touched a beast core at the position of his head. The size of the pigeon eggs is black and translucent. It emits faint energy fluctuations. This is the essence of high-level strange beasts. After absorbing, it can greatly strengthen the beast transformation talent. I clasped the dark and translucent beast core with my fingertips. Slightly cool energy poured into the body along the fingertips. The limbs and bones instantly burst into a burst of numbness. Owls sense electric eels, lightning ants, monster iron beetle defenses, and their buzzing. Like a long drought and rain, frantically devouring the pure energy in the beast core. The surviving survivors around were already terrified. There was only awe and fear in the eyes that looked at me. He didn't even dare to breathe. The girl I rescued just now shrank in a corner. The legs are still weak, but he mustered up the courage to take 2 steps closer to me. Her voice was as soft as Wenji's. You okay? I ignored him. His eyes swept over the huge corpse of the black armored bear. My heart moved. The flesh and blood of such high-level strange beasts. It is the top natural material and earth treasure of the last days. Anyone devouring can increase strength. The risk is equally deadly. Ordinary deceived people once they eat the flesh and blood of strange beasts. At light it is a disorder of talent. Strength regressed. At worst it is sexually invaded by violent beasts and swallows the mind. Completely reduced to a monster that only knows how to kill. And I have the immortal physique of the tardily and multiple perfect talents. Can ignore the backlash. Safely devour the essence of exotic beasts. Let your combat power rise steadily. This is the biggest hole card of my rebirth. It must not be exposed in plain sight. Once people know that I can devour strange beasts without side effects and become stronger, it won't be long. The powerful of the entire apocalypse will flock to it. Regard me as a treasure that must be taken. Thinking of this, I suppressed the idea of refining on the spot. Put away the black armored beast and the body, ready to find a safe place, then absorb it quietly. But at this moment, the owl's super hearing suddenly caught. There was a dense sound of breaking wind and heavy stampedes from the northwest. The number is at least 30 heads. The breath is violent. It is far more ferocious than the black armored bear just now. My eyes sank suddenly. If you don't want to die, hide immediately. I spoke coldly. Survivors woke up like a dream. Rolling belts crawled to the nearest shops and residential buildings. Closed the doors and windows tightly. The girl also bit her lip and hid in a convenience store. He looked at me nervously through the crack in the glass door. I put the birthday box in my pocket. Pick up an 8K wall demolition sledgehammer. With one hand, thunder and lightning and poison linger all over the body at the same time. Well, defense is fully open. Stand in the middle of the street. Face the coming dampness. In the next second, dense black shadows rushed out of the night. Leading the way is a mutant hound more than 3 meters tall. The fur is mottled all over the body. Fangs turned out. Drooping saliva corrodes the ground. It was followed by dozens of violent beasts such as wolf, leopard, and boar. His eyes were red, with a murderous look on one's face, obviously attracted by the smell of black armored bear blood and my breath. Act recklessly. I sneered softly. Step on the foot. The figure suddenly rushed out of the bullet. Imbue your arms with 400x. The power. The sledgehammer swept out with the sound of the howling wind, slammed his head into the mutant hound at the front. The skull of the hound was instantly sunken. Electric current and highly toxic intrusion at the same time. Beast didn't even scream. Then he fell straight to the ground. The rest of the strange beasts roared and pounced on them. Claws and fangs bite wildly, but their attack fell on the double heavy armor of the iron beetle and the crocodile. Only splash a little bit of moss. I can't even break the skin. I don't retreat but advance, like a tiger entering a flock. Thunder and lightning are in full bloom. The blue lightning exploded around me. The whole body was convulsed by the electricity. The poison ran along the fingertips. It touches carbon deposits. Under the blessing of strange powers, each hammer can smash the head of a strange beast. Night vision allows me to walk on the ground in the dark. Hearing predicts all attack trajectories. I am like the god of war in the dark night, invincible in the herd. Blood splattered all over his clothes. I didn't care. Every time a strange beast is killed. Talent in the body is 1 point stronger. The energy of the beast core and the essence of the flesh and blood of the strange beast rushed in the the meridians, constantly temper the body. The immortal physique and lava self-healing power of the water bear are on standby throughout the process. Even if it is occasionally attacked, scrape a trace of flesh, it also heals in an instant. Just 3 minutes later, the streets are full of strange beast corpses. Smell of blood is strong and pungent. I took a breath, is preparing to loot and approve the nucleus. The corner of the eye is still bright, but suddenly I caught a glimpse of a cold reflection flashing from the roof of the building in the distance. Sniper rifles are human, and it is prepared in advance. A mutant with a thermal weapon. My heart tightened. The body instinctively flashed to the side. Bang, bullets roared in. It hit exactly where I was standing just now. A small pit was blown out of the concrete floor. There was indeed an ambush. My eyes were extremely cold. The most terrifying thing in the end of the world is never a strange beast. It is the greed and viciousness of the same kind. The words just fell. 3 sneers came from the top of the building in an instant. 3 black shadows jumped down. The body stretches when it lands. It is an eagle-shaped, arc-shaped, and snake-shaped beast transformation. The aura far exceeded that of ordinary strange beasts. Obviously, it is a strong person who has prepared a careful layout in advance. The eagle-shaped man flaps his half-painted wings, suspended in mid-air. The eyes are gloomy. Boy, kill the black armored bear and sweep the tide. The ability is not small. Surrender all of your animal cores. There is also the secret of the beast transformation. Leave your whole body. The woman in the middle of the lake licked her lips. We have been observing you for a long time. One person stacks multiple talents. This kind of secret is not something you can keep. Don't resist. Otherwise, you will be worse off than dead. After saying that, the 3 of them surrounded me in a triangle. 77 locked. Obviously, it is a solid victory. The survivors hiding around their hearts were in their throats. The invincible god of night war just now. In the blink of an eye, he was about to be surrounded and killed by 3 powerful beast transformers. I hold the sledgehammer. Slowly stand up straight. The corners of his mouth hooked up with a cold arc. Just rely on your heroes. The man's face turned angry, and he sought death. The words fell. His wings shook. The figure was like an arrow and swooped down. The claws grabbed my head with the wind. Meanwhile, the figure of the woman in the middle of the lake flashed, disappeared into the night, apparently preparing for a sneak attack. The femme scorpion man throws out the venom. Corrosive air. It is close to my family. 3 powerhouses joined forces to be murderous. My eyes narrowed slightly. All talents are unreserved. Full outbreak. The owl's night vision instantly locked the invisible trajectory of the woman in Huxi. The electric eel lightning covers the whole body to form a defensive power grid. Ant-monster infusion. His legs kicked into the air. Facing the eagle-shaped man, he rushed up. What? Shady man was full of horror. Can't believe it. I took advantage of his stunning. Grab him by the wings. The strange force twisted violently. The crackling sound of drums sounded. The eagle-shaped man let out a scream. Half of the wings were directly twisted off by me. I punched him in the chest. Highly toxic and injected with electric current at the same time. He fell to the ground like a broken kite. Completely lost its vitality. After solving one person, I fell to the ground. Just in time to meet the sneak attack dagger of the Huxing woman. The dagger stabbed me. Also bounced off by heavy armor. The woman's pupil shrank, turned around and wanted to escape, but I threw out a thunderbolt and wrapped it around my ankle. Collapsed to the ground in an instant. Words of sparing him for mercy were not finished. I made up for it. He died on the spot. The last remaining snake-shaped man was frightened. Turn around and run. Venom squirts wildly. My eyes were cold. His mind moved. The high-voltage current spreads along the ground. Catch up with him in an instant, and your legs are sizzling. The serpentine man twitched all over, collapsed to the ground. I can't move. I walked slowly to him, looked at him condescendingly. Who sent you? Yes, it was the Green Wolf who helped them establish a stronghold in the east of the town. Boss is a wolf-shaped deceiver, extremely strong. I heard that you have multiple talents. We were sent to arrest you. Green Wolf gang. My eyes were cold. This gang was in the previous life, in the early days of the end times. They burned, killed, and looted. There is no evil that cannot be done. My friends in my previous life died at their hands. I didn't expect them to take the initiative to send it to the door in this life. I lowered my eyes and looked down at the corpse under my feet. Put away more than a dozen beasts in close bodies. Turning around, he was about to kill the town. Just took 2 steps. The girl's weak voice came from behind him. The Green Wolf gang occupies the largest wholesale market in the east of the town. There are a few outlaws in IT. You will really die if you go alone. I didn't stop. Only half of the faces turned sideways. The voice was particularly cold and the smell of blood. They are in the east of the earthquake. Then they are already dead. After saying that, I clenched my sledgehammer. The figure is like a cold electricity. Crashed into the purple-black apocalyptic fog. The fog in the middle of winter is thicker than in the old town. Blood, sweat, and the smell of gunpowder smoke were mixed together, sticky on the face. The closer you get to the Qinglang gang's stronghold, the more piercing the screams and manic after sale service, the harsher they become. I stopped 100 meters away. The owl has full night vision. Cold gaze pierced the fog. See through the cloth room of the grain and oil wholesale market. The iron gate was welded to death. The walls are filled with broken glass and steel bars. At the wall stood a deceived person with a steel pipe machete. One by one, their eyes were fierce, like a mad dog that can't be tethered. There are 3 guard posts in front and behind. 3 dark slaves, 8 patrols in the deepest warehouse of the deceived. A violent aura like a tsunami lingered. The leader of the Green Wolf Gang, Black Wolf Beast, mutant. In his previous life he relied on devouring the flesh and blood of his own kind and beasts, forcibly pull out high strength. Hundreds of lives were stained on his hands. In this life he dared to take the initiative to provoke me. Stop. Who is here to collect the body of your leader? The words fell. I kicked the ground violently. The bullet explodes with 400x power. The figure is like an arrow leaving the string straight into the gate. Looking for death, the guards roared and threw their spears. The sharp spear tip broke through the air. I don't dodge. Iron beetle with crocodile. The double armor is fully open. When the spear hits the chest, bounce directly, but even a single white mark could be left. In the next second I had rushed to the tin door, grabbed the door frame with one hand. The strange force suddenly pulled. The tin gate that was welded to death was torn in half. The steel plate is twisted like waste paper. The guards on the wall were frightened. Just about to call someone, I raised my hand and shook it. High voltage current rushed up the wall. A few people twitched all over. Plants directly from the wall passed out. Someone broke into the bomb. It was the monster that killed the black armored bear. The siren sounded. Dozens of beast-sized Green Wolf Gang members rushed out from both sides. Looting a murder weapon, he rushed frantically. Kill him. Steal his talent. My eyes were cold. The whole body was surrounded by thunder and lightning. The wall was demolished with a sledgehammer and swept out. Bang bang. The few people who rushed to the front were smashed away with a hammer. The sound of drums cracking continues. Every week, the electric eel is in full swing. Blue lightning exploded around me. No one survived within 3 meters. The bullet is highly toxic and attaches to the hammer body. If you touch it, you will be greedy. If touched, he would die. Under double defense, the machete was slashed on the body. I saw Mars's claws biting like tickling. I feel like I'm in a no man's land. Someone fell at every step. The blood stained the ground red. Less than 3 minutes, the guards at the door wailed all over the place. I carry a blood-dripping sledgehammer. Step by step, I walked to the deepest warehouse, kicked open the iron door. The lights in the warehouse are dim. A dozen survivors chained to the corner. Shivering. In the center, a black wolf beast mutant more than 2 meters high sit on a throne made of oil drums. He was covered in black and brown fur. Wolf eyes scarlet-y. Salt water flowed from the corners of his mouth. Breath around me was so violent that it distorted the air. He is the leader of the Qinglang Gang Lang 2. Wolf who licked the blood on his paws. A fierce laugh erupted. Not bad. He was able to kill me in front of me. A physical body with multiple talents. It must be a big supplement. That he swept past the survivors in the corner. The tone became more and more cruel. These people are my nourishment. I can go one step further by swallowing them. You came and just swallowed it with you. He slammed to his feet. The figure is like a black shadow pounced. The dewclaws grabbed my head with the sharpness of tearing air. The speed, strength, and mail are far superior to the previous black armored bears. My eyes were solemn. All talents are instantly full. The Night Master locked the trajectory. Auditory anticipation of attacks. Strange power infused. His arms were covered with heavy armor. When the dewclaw collides with the arm, the sound of metal and iron resonates. The airwaves lifted up the surrounding debris. He slammed to his feet. The figures like a black shadow pounced. The dewclaws grabbed my head with the sharpness of tearing air. Speed, strength, and mail are far superior to the previous black armored chest. My eyes were solemn. All talents are instantly full. Dewclaws collide with arms. The sound of metal and iron resonates. 7 waves instantly lifted up the surrounding debris. I took 2 steps back. Wolf was also shocked. It can actually catch one of my claws. His pupils shrank suddenly. Your defense. I don't wait for him to react. Take the initiative. The sledgehammer swept through his waist and abdomen with thunder and lightning and poison. Wolf 2 reacted extremely quickly. Dodge, sideways. The claws swept at my neck at the same time. The two fought together in an instant. Claw eyes, hammer wind. Thunder and lightning and poison collide wildly in a small warehouse. The wolf map becomes more and more sophisticated the more it fights, because his claws can't break my defenses at all. What kind of monster are you? He was completely insane. I don't believe it. I can't kill you. The words did not fall. He opened his mouth, suddenly spewing out a black shockwave. Shelf melting. Smoke was coming from the ground. The next second he was completely sluggish. His face was full of disbelief. How is it possible? How can you not die? There is still a lot you don't know. The words did not fall. My figure suddenly rushed forward, flashed in front of him in an instant. Stabbed him with his left hand and claws. Strange force twisted. Directly break off your right hand and raise the sledgehammer to infuse all your strength. Thunder and poison smashed into his head. Click the wolf's head. Skull instantly sunken. Black blood gushed out. He couldn't even scream. The huge body fell to the ground with a bang. After 2 convulsions, he was completely dead. The survivors who were locked up all widened their eyes. His face was full of disbelief. I bent down and felt a black beast core in the wolf map's head. Carry him in his pocket along with the rest of the beast box. Turned around and looked at the trembling crowd in the corner. Then I raised my hand and grabbed the thumb-thick chain. Slightly exerted. The iron ring shattered with a sound. Inventory of supplies. Reinforced doors and windows. Don't make a sound. Everyone did not dare to neglect it. I hurriedly got up and cleaned up the mess. Carry grain and oil and block windows. windows. Gather the available weapons. There was only a slight movement of the entire warehouse. After the arrangements are made, I went to the outside of the warehouse in the shadows. Close your eyes against the wall and take a breath. The gentle energy of the beast core flowed slowly. Perception, strength, and defense are all quietly climbing. Breath was restrained. It doesn't show half a sharp edge. When I opened my eyes again, the silence under his eyes was as cold as ice. In the distance in the night, there were several violent roars of beasts. The owl's superhearing instantly captures distant movements. Not damp, not a chaser. It's the quantity. The engine of the modified off-road vehicle roared low. It is driving along the street towards the wholesale market. The people in the car breathed calmly. Trained. It is by no means an ordinary straggler. My eyes are dusty. Hold the wall demolition sledgehammer in your hand. Dodge behind the pillar. Breath of the whole body was completely converged. In this early apocalypse, those who dare to drive rampant are either the residual forces of the military or large, well-equipped raiding gangs. Either way, it is not good. After a while, 3 off-road vehicles parked outside the wholesale market. The lights went out. More than a dozen dark shadows quickly got out of the car, holding a standard machete and crossbow arrow. Even 2 homemade shotguns moved neatly straight to the warehouse. For the first person, the eyes were shiny. It turned out to be a high-level deceived person who turned into a gray beast. The breath is a little more condensed than the wolf picture. There is a living atmosphere inside. There's also the residual bloodstains of the black wolf. Go in and search for beast core materials and take all the talented people away stone. Everyone quickly approached the warehouse gate. I stood motionless in the shadows, under night vision. Their every movement, every breath is extremely clear. The number of people is dominant. Well-equipped. There is long-range firepower. There is also a leader who is not weak. This is the first regular armed force I've encountered since my rebirth. Even if you go head-to-head, you won't suffer. Hard-carrying bullets is also inevitably injured. Rashly exposed all his talents. It is even more self-inflicted. Thinking of this, I slowly adjusted my breathing. A faint blue current flashed from his fingertips. Spotted night rushes to control heavy armor, lightning, poison, and supernatural powers heal themselves. All talent died quietly at this moment. Warehouse door was gently pushed open. The first black shadow pool. The machete was the first to probe in. The eyes scanned the darkness vigilantly. I stepped out silently under my feet. The figure was like a ghost sticking behind him. Don't wait for this person to exclaim. His left hand covered her mouth and nose. The right hand is slightly curved, and lilac is poisonous. Gently poke the back of his neck with his fingertips. The other party's body instantly stiffened and convulsed. Can't even struggle. Then he fell softly in my arms. I put him on the ground. There is no sound left. After putting down the first person, the second person followed in. Just took 2 steps. A weak electric current suddenly touched under his feet. If I've already taken advantage of the night, spread the current down the ground into small traps. A weak current is not enough to be deadly, but it made him tremble. The movement is stiff. I rushed out of the shadows. The sledgehammer swings horizontally. He hit him hard between his chest and abdomen with the side of the hammer. There was a muffled sound. The man bowed and fell to the ground, passed out. What are the 2 waists rubbing? A low scolding sounded. The third member broke in quickly with a crossbow arrow. As soon as he pulled the string and aimed, he was night visioned by the owlney. Precise locking action. Dodged the crossbow arrow sideways. The figure suddenly came closer. Grabbed the crossbow god with one hand and lifted up. In the next second, the current was conducted along the crossbow god. The other party was numb, let go and fall to the ground. After 3 consecutive people were quietly subdued, the greyhound leader outside the door finally sensed something was wrong. Why didn't the 3 people move at all? The words fell. He waved his hand to signal the 4 of them to rush forward in battle formation. He was holding a homemade shotgun and guarding the side of the door. The eyes were extremely stressed. The 4 rushed into the warehouse. Decentralized outflanking. Then I stopped hiding my figure. Suddenly rushed out from behind the pillar. The bullet pierced his arm with strange force. The sledgehammer swept out with a sound of breaking the air. Bang! The person on the far left was instantly smashed away. The other 3 were shocked when they saw this. Swung his knife and pounced on him. I don't dodge. The iron beetle and the crocodile are fully defended. The machete was slashed on the shoulder. Only a string of sparks was sparked. There were no white marks left. The 3 of them were shocked. I smashed down a person with a backhand. I saw an arc burst out. The third person in the chest. Electrolysis it to the ground. The last person was so frightened that he was disheartened. Turn around and run away. I kicked under my feet. The figure instantly caught up. A knife slashed at the back of his neck. Thoroughly subdued. Just 10 seconds. 7 people who rushed into the warehouse. All of them were solved by me, with the least physical strength and the lowest exposure. The face of the gray hyena leader at the door completely changed. He finally realized that it was not a lamb to be slaughtered. It was a dormant night beast. The people inside came out. The boss clenched the shotgun. Roared, I know you're strong, but can you withstand bullets? Hand over supplies and boxes. I will leave you with the whole body. I walked slowly to the door of the warehouse, holding a sledgehammer in one hand. The breath around me was as cold as ice. In the night, I confronted him from a distance. We're nearly 10 people outside the door. 2 shotguns, 3 crossbow arrows. The leader is even more powerful. Hard rushes will definitely hit the bullet. Hard resistance will be traumatic. Thinking of this, my eyes were slightly cold. I already have a countermeasure in mind. I wanted to give the box and get it myself. My voice was calm, but with full provocation. The leader was angry and turned to the school to seek death. The words fell. He waved his hand to signal his men to disperse and outflank. He took the lead in approaching the door of the warehouse. The muzzle of the shotgun was aimed at my chest. I stood motionless in the shadows inside the door. Night vision is fully open. Lock his landing position at every step. Hearing is fully open. Capture the subtle sound of his trigger clasp. Thunder and lightning, poison, strange power, and heavy armor are all ready to go. 3 steps, 2 steps, 1 step. The leader has rushed to the door. You smile and pull the trigger goodbye. Just before the gunshot moved. I don't have a hard resistance. Instead, he turned sideways along the doorframe. At the same time, he slammed his feet on the ground, spread the current in advance where it must pass. Shotguns flew over his shoulders, hit the rear shelf. Sawdust splattered. The pupils of the leader shrank suddenly. I haven't had time to change the bullet yet. There was a sudden numbness under his feet. It's an electric current. I grabbed a 1-second gap. The body rushed out like an arrow. The sledgehammer is raised, but it didn't hit him on the head. Instead, it was smashed into his right arm holding the gun. Click. The sound of bone cracking was piercing. The shotgun fell to the ground. Then the leader screamed. He pounced bravely. The greyhound's claws turned into claws. With Rui smiling, he grabbed my throat. I don't dodge, I don't dodge. Heavy armor on the shoulders and the hard eating of this claw. When the claws were bounced off, instead he was shocked back half a step. No way. His face was full of disbelief. My eyes were cold. No more nonsense. A hammer hit him in the chest. The meeting eyes flew out backwards, fell heavily to the ground. Passed out. The rest were terrified. I didn't dare to step forward again, turn around and run away. My eyes were slightly cold. Slowly. Keep up. It's not about killing them all. Instead, they spare deserters in the last days. It's like planting a time bomb for yourself. I didn't plan to chase it. I used the owl's super hearing, a trick that has already locked up all deserters, even if they turn to block the door panel. Hold one's breath. The frenzied heartbeat in my ears is like a dark night and an open flame with no escape. My mind moved. 800 volts of high voltage current for electric eels per week spread silently along the dew-soaked cement floor. The sizzling current mixed with muffled hums sounded one after another. No more than 10 seconds. The scattered minions all collapsed. The convulsions disappeared. I walked slowly to one of them. An 8-kilo wall demolition sledgehammer squatted beside him. The cement floor instantly smashed out a shallow pit. Who sent you? My voice was as cold as ice. He shakes into a sieve. It is the boss of the Blackstone gang. And it is Zhang Bia, who was deceived by the wild boar. I originally wanted to eat the green wolf gang. I didn't expect to be brought to the nest by you. After saying that he swallowed his saliva, 2 more news broke out. The brother who ran out just now had already called a large army on the walkie-talkie. I lowered my eyes and swept over the living mouth on the ground. Fingertips exert force, but this time the bullet pierced the back of his neck with a highly poisonous shot. The other party stiffened instantly. There was no sound. Kind to your enemies in the last days. It is cruelty to oneself. Less than 5 minutes, the roar of off-road vehicles came from the road in the distance. The dazzling lights cut through the morning fog. 3 off-road vehicles welded with steel plates rushed straight to the door of the warehouse. The tires screech against the ground. The doors are opened in unison. More than 20 armed bandits swarm down. The leader is a 2-5-meter tall man, covered in dark shadows with manes and half-beasts. A strong man with a boar's head. 2 fangs turned out, carrying a snowy mountain knife. It was the Blackstone gang leader, Bial. He swept over his men all over the ground. He looked at me alone again. At first I was stunned, and he returned to school in a hurry. What kind of ruthless role did I have at that time? It turned out to be a boy with no hair growing even. Get out of the warehouse. Surrender all animal cores. I will leave you with a whole corpse. Otherwise, even the people inside you will chop up, feed the dog. The words fell. The bandits behind him followed. The mistress pointed the shotgun at me, full of greed and disdain. I'm too lazy to talk nonsense. Spit out a word lightly. Get lost. NBO's smile disappeared instantly. Roared, looking for death. He rushed over with a mountain-opening knife. The brute force of the boar beast exploded. The cement floor under his feet was trampled on. Bandits behind him swarmed up. The shotgun pulls the trigger at the same time. The steel balls poured towards me with a sound of breaking the air. My eyes froze. The owl's hearing has long predicted the trajectory. The foot kicked and dodged sideways. The steel ball grazed me and smashed against the wall behind me. Gravel splashed everywhere. Meanwhile, double defense of the ironclad beetle and the crocodile was instantly full. The whole body was covered with a dark silver carapace halo, facing Jean Bial, who was rushing to the front. I don't dodge, I don't dodge. The bullet is infused with 400 times the monster power. He raised his arms high and smashed down with a sledgehammer. When the loud sound of metal and iron shook the eardrums, Jean Bial only felt that the overwhelming power came along the blade. My arms went numb. The tiger's mouth cracked. Blood flowed. Mountain knife flew out of his hand. His face was full of horror. Haven't reacted yet. I swept with a backhand. It smashed his waist and abdomen. The cracking sound of the bones exploded. Chang Biao's huge body was smashed several meters away. Crashed into the off-road vehicle. The windshield shattered in an instant. He spat out a mouthful of blood. He died on the spot. One move to kill the leader of the Blackstone gang in seconds. The remaining bandits froze in place in an instant. Arrogance turns into fear. I didn't give them time to react. His mind moved. The 800-volt high-voltage current bursts instantly. It spreads into an impermeable power grid centered on me. The bandits rushing to the front were about to pounce. Soles of the feet touched the current. My whole body twitched. The weapon fell to the ground. He collapsed to the ground. Two crossbowmen hiding behind and releasing cold arrows. As soon as I pulled the trigger, I locked it accurately. I jumped up, dodged the crossbow arrow. The body is like a ghost, pasted in front of the two of them. Fingertips are highly poisonous. Gently poke them on the back of the neck. The two didn't even scream. Then he fell to the ground stiffly. The rest were terrified. Turn around and run to the car. I exerted force under my feet and rushed out with a sledgehammer and swung it out one after another. The bang was constant. Every time the hammer fell, a bandit fell to the ground. Less than 2 minutes before and after, more than 20 heavily armed Blackstone gang bandits were wiped out. None of them returned. But at this moment, the roar of a helicopter suddenly came from the sky in the distance. I looked up sharply. 3 military green gunships are flying towards the town. Red logo on the chicken. I remember it in my last life until I die. It is the exclusive logo of the official survivor base. This natural disaster that swept the world has just begun, and I am destined to be in this last days of blood and fire. Stand on top of the world.